Welcome to the Holiday Inn East and the 2012 St. Paul Police Officer, Detective, and Civilian of the Year Awards and Luncheon. As you can see inside your program, the selection process for these awards was done with great care and consideration. First and foremost, co-workers, peers, and supervisors had taken the opportunity to submit nominations for the honor. That alone can be a great feat, considering most police officers would rather not write anything unless they're mandated to. In 2012, there were many incidents and opportunities for employees of the police department to apply their craft. Some of these incidences are well known and covered by the media or acknowledged by the department, but there are tens of thousands of times where small and large acts of heroism, detective skills, and kindness were never seen or recognized except by those who were there. For those of you that have not been recognized for your kind human interactions and for the times of great courage or empathy, I and those that you touched, thank you. Can we please take a moment of silence to thank and pray for those that have passed in the last year, including victims, people we loved or knew, and especially in our hearts, Officer Josh Lino. Thank you. All of the nominees and individuals that will be recognized here today deserve these accolades. These awards do not recognize just the facts concepts of the 1970s TV show Dragnet. Being a good detective or an officer is not the mastery of factual compilations or data, great speed or strength, but it's the application of the art of crime solving, the delicate balance of right and wrong with human interactions and truth seeking. Being a good cop or a detective is the art of applying logic, science, and reason to the human condition. The ability to gain empathy from human sources that will cooperate and trust law enforcement, to acquire cooperation from people that you know and that you know live in the underworld. It's to shine the light of justice in the dark corners of society. The art form of being a good cop or a detective starts with gaining cooperation from citizens, crooks, and partners. No one does this job alone. And if our officers and detectives are the flashlights of truth, our civilians are the batteries for those flashlights, because none of these badge wearers in this room know how to fix a radio, repair a computer, or maintain files that might be hundreds of years old. No one does this job alone. I'd like to introduce the people at the head table. Directly to my left is Chief Tom Smith. Next to him, Mayor Chris Coleman. We have Father Patrick McCorkle and Federation President Officer Dave Titus. We're going to start with First of all, we'd like to have a few words from Mayor Chris Coleman, who is the 46th mayor of the city of St. Paul. He was elected in 2006 and again in 2009. He's a lifelong resident, attorney, community leader, investment advisor, and city council member, and an advocate for education. He is uniquely qualified to lead the city of St. Paul into its very bright future. Your Honor.
Thank you, Commander. This is the shortest podium I've ever seen. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. I always am a little worried when I speak before the prayer. I feel like I'm stepping on protocol. So, Pat, I hope you treat me well in your thoughts there. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be here with all of you, particularly the nominees, both for Officer, Detective, or Civilian Employee of the Year. We've got some great nominees this year. Of course, we always do, but there's some really wonderful police work that has been done this last year. There's been some amazing things. Some of what we saw on video, the whole incident with Dan and Brian was really just so stunning in what happened. But when you see it on video and you realize how close we came to a much more serious situation than it was, we realize the dangers that our officers face every day out in the street. I do have to say the thing, obviously so glad to have Dan here. But the thing that strikes me about that video is I think Brian must have been watching too many detective movies or something like that, because when he rolls out of his car, it is, honest to God, if you saw that on the movie screen, you would say that can't possibly be that can't be real. It would never happen that way. There's no way that you could do that, and yet we saw it with our own eyes, and what an amazing thing. And so to congratulate them, congratulate to all the nominees. I'm just proud to be with you. You know, it was bittersweet on Saturday when many of us were out at the Twins game, and we got to honor the memory of Josh, who just was taken way too soon from us. But to be with his family, particularly that moment where his dad, there's a picture that if you saw that was tweeted that day of him just looking down at that baseball. I can't remember if it was before or after he threw out the first pitch. But you can see in that moment the great sadness and the great heart-breaking loss that Josh's family felt, but that we felt as a community. And you're looking down into this kind of pure white baseball, and just kind of pausing for a moment, and you're holding that in there, and you think for the Lionel family, what they must have felt at that time, because they were so proud of the memory of Josh and what he had done in his short term on the department, the honors that he had received, and well deserved. But the fact of the matter is, there was that kind of brought back that loss to us all. And again, I'm reminded every time I'm at any event like that of the incredible sacrifice that we ask all of you officers to perform on a daily basis, the incredible risks that we ask you to put yourselves in. And yet you do it, you go out there, you fight the fight, you investigate the cases, you arrest the bad guys, we prosecute them, we put them in jail, and we do that. And every time that we do that, I feel like we gain a little victory, we gain a little ground in the effort that we're making to make St. Paul the greatest city in the world, the safest city in the world, and I think we do incredibly good work. But unfortunately, we don't always win. Unfortunately, sometimes the bad guys take too much control, and we just step backwards. And yet, every time I read about an incident, a victim of domestic violence, which we've seen too much this year, when we see a shooting like we saw on the west side the other day, where a son assaults his mother, you realize that there is so much more work to be done. But what gives me great confidence is knowing that I have a department in this city that has great leadership with Chief Smith and all of his commanders and assistant chiefs. I know that we have great training. But most importantly, I know that we have great community support for the work that you do. So when we recognize the winners today, I hope that you understand we're recognizing all of you for your efforts, for the job that you do, and your willingness to sacrifice. Long nights for your families, long nights for your loved ones. When you're gone, there's always that worry. But at the end of the day, what makes me so proud as mayor of the city is the work that you do. You do a great job. We keep on winning. We win more than we lose, and that's at the end of the day about all we can do. Keep up the good work. Today we honor a few, but every day I hope that you feel that we honor all of you for your service. Thank you.
Thomas Smith is the 40th Chief of Police for the St. Paul Police Department, being appointed in June of 2010. He's worked his way up through the ranks in St. Paul. He has a master's degree from the University of St. Thomas and a graduate of the FBI Academy and other FBI Executive Management Series. He's still residing on the west side of St. Paul, and he serves the community in which he lives. And I know this guy's pulled a midnight shift here, so he knows this town. Chief?
Thank you, everybody. And if there happen to be any bad guys or bad girls around here, probably the worst place in the world to be right now is the Holiday Inn East, right? With all these people here. And one other thing before I get into the official part, Kevin Moore graced us. He was here, retired Sergeant Kevin Moore. He had his lunch, and now he's off to a lunch, for another free lunch over on the west side for Cinco de Mayo. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there. How cool is this today? For all of us to be here together to celebrate fantastic work by St. Paul police officers. And how cool is it to have our city leadership, our county partners, all of our partners, federal partners, people that are here today, because they are here for all of you, for all the nominees that are here today. You don't see that a lot of other places. In fact, a lot of departments tell me often, Chief, your department's histories and traditions are second to none. And that's the truth, because we take care of our own. And we know that we have great police officers, great leaders in our city that support our officers, and that's exactly what we're going to do today, is recognize the fine work of civilians and our officers. As your chief of police, I have quickly learned that one of the best parts of my job is getting to recognize the fine work all the time of the officers, because they do amazing things. But it's also one of the most difficult parts of this job. But I'm proud of the fact that choosing the Officer, Detective, and Civilian of the Year award is not an easy one. And I got to tell you folks, this year it was very difficult, and you'll hear those stories as we go forward. It speaks to the quality of the people who make our department the best department in the country. Not the best department in the state, the best department in the United States. I am very proud of all these officers and all of you, and to serve you, and you're going to hear some amazing stories here today. We're going to get right into it because we've got a lot of things to do today. The mayor's right. This is really short and you got to look down, but I'll make the best of this. As we go forward, we're going to start off with the Civilian of the Year award. Our first category is the Civilian Employee of the Year. Our finalists this year for 2012 are William Conroy and Jeffrey Nowicki Sr. We'll call him Bill. Bill Conroy started in 2007 as a temporary property clerk. He became certified in 2008, and in 2012 his title was changed to Digital Evidence Technician. Anybody know what that is? It's really cool stuff, let me tell you, for us. His previous employment was in the photography industry. Bill is nominated for his expertise and proficiency in the department's photo lab. He is a digital evidence technician for the police department and has led the transition of the department's photo lab from film development to digital photography, picture printing, and digital media duplication. Forget all that in the script. He's taken us out of the Stone Ages and put us where we need to be as a professional law enforcement organization. And he is amazing with the skills that he has for us. Attorneys and investigators rely on Bill to produce quality work to help prove their cases. They have never been disappointed with the final product and have praised his work. He has created visual masterpieces that get noticed by people in the court system, in the media, and in our department. In addition to all the photo tasks he has performed, digital media has also evolved with the implementation of our in-car camera system. He duplicates the squad video for any suspect that has been charged. On an average, this means he's working on 30 to 40 cases per week, along with the other photo requests and responsibilities that he has. The total number of all requests for the photo lab has increased from 1,000 in 2011 to over 1,700 in 2012. That is a huge volume of work to complete, yet he has remained positive, professional, and always comes through with exceptional quality work. My boss left, but our city council people are here. His connections to the industry, creative ability, and his general knowledge have saved the department and the city countless dollars just because of his expertise. And I think that's important in tough budget times today. We are very fortunate to have him as an employee. I'm not going to let him go, just so you know. And he has just amazing talents. Next up, Jeffrey Nowicki Sr. I'm just going to call him Jeff. Jeff Nowicki is nominated for his exemplary work ethic and dedication to the St. Paul Police Department. He has been with us since 1986 as a Custodian Engineer 1. He was promoted to Custodian Engineer 3 in 2001, and since 2009 he has held the current title of Building Maintenance Supervisor for Public Safety. In that position, he oversees the 12 individuals currently assigned to his unit who keep our department's many facilities and grounds clean, operational, and safe for all of our employees. In addition, Mr. Nowicki is the lead person to plan and organize how various projects will be completed on time and, again, within budget. In 2012, he worked to keep the annex viable for our department when there was an oversight with capital improvement funds. He also coordinated efforts to prepare for the old headquarters demolition, which is kind of sad for me, but times have changed. He was involved with several construction-type projects, including the Central District locker rooms and our crime lab renovation, huge projects. Behind the scenes, he has ensured that our department is compliant with OSHA and ADA guidelines and reviews any concerns that building and fire inspectors raise during their annual inspections of our department facilities. When planning and organizing a project, Jeff often must communicate and coordinate well with various vendors and other city departments. He is readily available to work with them and is flexible when necessary to get the job accomplished. There are many countless hours that he has worked on his own time to finish a task before a deadline or a date. The amount of work that he and his staff accomplish is highly commendable. He is professional, creative, and positive, and he just is a fantastic employee, and he has great qualities that he brings to our department. Both Jeff and Bill are support personnel for our organization, and just so everybody knows here, we can't do our job without great civilians. I think a lot of times they go overlooked, not with us. You can ask any cop in this room if they want some digital evidence, they're going to Bill. But if something breaks, and we all know things break, the first person they're gonna call is Jeff. And I'm gonna guess if I had people raise your hands who have used either Bill or Jeff, everybody in the room would raise their hand. That's because they do exceptional work and we trust them. We trust them to do the right thing with our facilities, with our evidence, and other things. And I just want to thank you as your chief for the work that both of you do. But with that being said, I had to pick a winner, and it was very difficult to do that. And winning this year's 2012 Civilian Employee of the Year Award is Jeffrey Nowicki, Sr.
Well, thank you, Chief. I want to congratulate Bill on his nomination, and I think most of you know that Bill's office is right across from my office, and so I have I talk with Bill every day on a daily basis, and I just want to say a couple things about Bill, about the type of employee that he is. I'd be in my office logging bills or whatnot, and I'd be, as you know, down in the basement, lower level that I'm at, you can hear things echo. And I would hear things down there, you know, and it'd be gosh darn it and shoot and stuff like that. So, it's got to be a normal routine because Bill's a perfectionist. He likes to make sure everything's perfect. So then as I'm sitting there, all of a sudden someone comes in the office and he says, "What is the temperature out there?" And I look back and there's Bill. And he says, "I don't know, 74. He says, "I'll tell you what it is. It's 76 degrees. He says, "My pictures are not sticking." I said, "Well, okay, Bill, we'll figure something out for you." So hopefully we got that. But that just shows what type of employee Bill is. He takes pride in his work, and like I say, he's a perfectionist at what he does. I'd like to thank Assistant Chief Kathy Warren for all of her help through the year. She has put up with me crying and whining about funding, about different projects, if it's new doors or whatnot. I think she got so tired of it that I swore that she had a disguise on when she came through the other day. But I thank you for all your help. I also like to put a special thanks out for Jane Mead, Trish England, and Kurt Hallstrom for their nominations. And I'd like to say thank you to my crew who's back here. If it wasn't for these guys, they make me look good. They really do a tremendous job through the year, and thank you. Thanks.
I've learned a few things in 24 years and 3 years now as a chief, And I just want to make sure, I mean, great round of applause, but Jeff, I think you probably have some special significant others that are here, because usually I hear about that after, so you probably want to maybe just say something about, here's the Nowicki family. Go ahead.
And that was my first thing on my list. Yes, I want to thank my family for being here and sharing this with me. And it's Mom's 77th birthday today, so. I kind of skipped over the first thing. I was so worried because most of the commanders are over here, and I'm looking at the door over here how to get out of here because I know they all have lists. They have lists for me to do, for jobs to do, so thank you.
Happy birthday, Mom. Winning the honorable mention, Civilian of the Year, is Bill Conroy. Bill, will you please come up?
I'd also like to thank Jeff Nowicki. If you're down in the basement at all, you notice it's quite dark down there. He, on a monthly basis, he puts the print out on the wall, framed print, so that we can change up things, and keeps me mentally on track. So.
Sounds good. Next, we'll move on to Detective of the Year. Our finalists are Sergeant Richard Straka and the team of Officer Yiling Vang and Officer Chu Jimmy Yang. Sergeant Richard W. Straka, and I'm just going to call him Rich, started as a police officer with us in 1993 after spending a short time with the Minnesota State Patrol. We never held that against him. No, actually, they're great partners. It's a joke. He was promoted to sergeant in 2001. He has held many assignments with the department. He has been assigned to the FBI Safe Streets Task Force since 2007, or 2010, excuse me, when we started our relationship there. Rich is nominated for his outstanding investigative and crime-solving skills utilized during Operation High Noon. This detail involved the FBI and other outside agencies and began with the identification of an Asian gang member selling large quantities of meth. And when I say large quantities, the people writing this are being very humble. One of the most prolific meth dealers, not just in the Twin Cities and St. Paul, but the Midwest. For decades, Sergeant Straka has been known for his expertise with the Asian community, and he was called early on to assist with this investigation. It soon became clear that this gang member was part of a very large and complex drug ring that would make this detail quite involved and very unique. It began in December 2011 and continued for almost 8 months. Rich was actively involved in all facets of the detail, including coordinating efforts with various agencies and arranging for interpreters, obtaining funds for controlled drug buys, using undercover officers, and drafting many search warrants which allowed for wire intercepts on cellular phones, GPS trackers, all sorts of real undercover stuff that a lot of people here may not understand. In addition, hundreds of hours of surveillance were required in order to capture the evidence needed to find the people involved and make proper arrest. After many long hours devoted to this case, the end result was very significant. 23 people were charged, $150,000 in cash was seized, and $100,000 in vehicles were also seized. 4 handguns were recovered, and 19 pounds of methamphetamine were seized. One of the main cartel members was tried in Hennepin County. There was a cartel member that was actually supplying this gang. And with that, the evidence presented, including Sergeant Straka's testimony, he was found guilty and sentenced to 30 years in prison, which is a state record for a drug-related crime. Just amazing work. Sergeant Straka's tenacity, proficiency, and dedication were all prominent factors in the success of this operation. Next, Officer Yiling Vang started in 2001 as a community liaison officer. He was promoted to police officer in 2002. He has held assignments in our ACOP unit, Central, our Vice unit, Community Services, and West. Since 2011, he has been assigned to the gang unit. His partner, Officer Chu Jimmy Yang, I'll just call him Jim, started in 2001 as well as a community liaison officer. He was promoted to police officer in 2002 as well, and he has held assignments in our ACOP Western unit, and since 2007 he has been assigned to the gang unit. Both these officers are nominated for their investigative and crime-solving skills and community policing efforts that were utilized in a juvenile rape case. This is a case that a lot of you will have read about and continue to read about in the paper, our local paper, and in the media. In late 2011, Ramsey County contacted our gang unit after being contacted by the victim's school regarding a violent gang rape that may have been committed by Hmong gang members. Both officers understood the disgrace that the Hmong victim and family would be feeling because there were cultural issues involved with this. And they immediately began speaking with them with empathy and compassion. They explained the importance of filing a report and ensured their safety and privacy. It took countless hours to convince the family and also the victim, but they finally agreed to help with the investigation. They interviewed the victim and the witnesses multiple times to gather information and were able to determine which gang was involved in the location of the crime. Next, they wrote and served multiple search warrants at various locations throughout the city, and evidence was collected. They interviewed suspects, listened to jail tapes, and used their knowledge of Asian gangs to eventually take 9 suspects into custody. However, their work did not stop there. They demonstrated professionalism and dedication by reaching out to the parents, students, and the surrounding community on how important it is to be proactive and involved with your children. They continue to offer support to the victim and her family who were very traumatized, confused, and hurt. They help facilitate meetings and other resources that are still helping her and her family to recover from this senseless and brutal act. They also spoke to the suspects, to show you how our officers act here. They spoke to the suspects and emphasized to them the importance of an education and how being tied to a gang is detrimental to their future. They are a source of great pride for our department and the citizens of St. Paul. You know, when I looked at these 2 cases, amazing work by all 3 people. You know, I've got a sergeant that helped to take off not only a prolific methamphetamine dealer that was sullying our streets and helping to keep people addicted on meth, but also working their way up all the way to 2 drug cartels that a lot of people don't hear about. And I can tell you that Rich, along with his staff, played such an instrumental role. I'm very proud of them. To 2 officers, Yiling and Jimmy, who in a horrific crime had to work within their own community to get people to come forward, because culturally that's a very, very sensitive issue. I know that you've read about what they've done in the paper, and to hold those people accountable for the terrific and horrific things, horrific things that were done to that victim. So it was difficult and very, very kind of mind-racking decision process for me, but the 2012 Detective of the Year Award is going to go to Sergeant Richard Straka.
Jimmy, I owe you lunch. I am flabbergasted. Chief, thank you. I'm very humbled. I did not expect to be up here. I'd like to thank Commander Korus, Sergeant Zero for writing us up. This was not me, this was everybody. All my partners at Safe Streets, the Minneapolis officers, the FBI agents, BC agents, you couldn't ask for better partners. We all work together, we joke together, and you know, there was a lot of work on this. Jimmy and Yiling, they should be the ones up here. I've done the case that they've done, and the work that they did in this case, I actually talked to Mark Redding, who also helped out in this case. I says, tell me what you need. I think these guys did incredible work. Like Chief Smith said, working in the Hmong community, being a member of that community, not only getting the girl to come forward and then do the investigation, a lot of the information they had on this case was rumors or nicknames. They followed through on that case, and they got all these people to come forward, and they got confessions, and they got convictions. To Heidi Westby, no one's better. If you want a prosecutor, nobody's better. Heidi, I talked to her. She forced people in her office to give her that case so she could prosecute not only the juveniles but the adults. And the work that she did was incredible, and that, she should be up here also. I'd like to thank my mom, Lorraine, for being here. The most important part is my family. My wife, Marie, last year during this case, her dad was diagnosed with cancer and ended up dying. And while this case was going on, she let me continue to go to work. My son Nate, my oldest son Nate, he just got admitted to the UMD school business. I'm very proud of him. My daughter Margaret, Maggie, is at Tarn. Great student, athlete. My youngest son Jack, great student, athlete. The thing I want to say the most is, Chief, if you ever come up with a Family of the Year award, they deserve it. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. This isn't my work phone, but if it was, I'm going to tell you what my wife would like to do with this thing. Because I'm going to tell you, it goes off during dinner, in the middle of the night, on weekends, on holidays. I've missed all three of my children's sporting events, school events, everything, because of cases or this job. And I want to apologize and say thank you for, letting me do this, because, you've been supportive of me, and I haven't been there all the time. And I wish I could have been there for a lot of these events that I've missed, so thank you. Thank you, Chief.
And honorable mention will go to Chu, Jimmy Yang, and Yiling Vang. Will you guys step up to the podium, please? I was remiss, and for those of us that wear this uniform and work with the St. Paul Police Department, can we do one thing? And Sergeant Straka brought it up, and he's very eloquent in that. Our families, the sacrifice for all the civilians here, and especially family members, they know the sacrifice that each one of these men and women make every single day. It's not just a sacrifice like you heard Sergeant Straka talk about. Every day they walk out the door, regardless of their rank, their family members never know if they're going to come back home. And that's an amazing pressure that only police officers and people in the military or the emergency medical field understand. It's not easy. So can we do one thing? For those of us in blue, can we give a standing round of applause for our family members that are here right now? Can we do that, guys and gals? Thank you very much. Now, on to Officer of the Year Award. The 2012 Officer of the Year Award finalists this year are Officer Mark Lundquist and the team of Officer Daniel King and Officer Brian Waschura. Officer Daniel King came to us as a lateral entry police officer from Cottage Grove PD back in 2001. He has held assignments in East and Central. He has been assigned to the East District since 2012. He has prior experience as a medic and has often assisted at scenes. I've seen him in action. Trust me, he is fantastic. Officer Brian Waschura came to us as a lateral entry police officer from the Oakdale Police Department in 2008. He has held assignments in East and Central. He has been assigned to East since 2012, and I didn't put it on the script, but I know that both of them have proudly served in our military as well, so thank you for that. Officer Dan King and Officer Brian Waschura are nominated for their commitment, heroism, and bravery as St. Paul police officers. On the evening of October 23, 2012, Officers King and Waschura were on patrol and were provided information for officer safety reasons regarding some weapons and ammunition that were stolen from a family by their son who had been acting very strangely. Shortly after that information was dispatched, they saw an individual who appeared to be carrying a long-barreled gun strapped to his back. He did not see the officers parked in an alley, but they immediately pulled onto the street to investigate. As the squad approached, the man grabbed at his weapon as if he were going to engage in gunfire and fled on foot into some trees in the parking area of a school. Officer King drove the squad into the parking lot while Officer Waschura opened the passenger door to prepare to escape quickly for a chase or standoff with the suspect. As the squad entered the lot, the suspect quickly opened fire, hitting Officer King's forearm, severely injuring him. Officer Waschura fell from the squad and remained in control, effectively delivering rounds at the suspect, who continued to shoot at Officer King and as the squad as it rolled forward. And I just want to stop there 1 second because, I mean, I love scripts, but the totality, for those of you that saw the video of that, Dan and Brian are a couple of tactical guys, so they, having talked to them, had a little plan, course of action. But when you start to take fire, that plan changed. And if you saw how Brian literally fell out of the squad car, that wasn't a plan. I mean, I'm happy that he didn't get hurt real bad himself, but it's just amazing how that situation unfolded. Officer King was again struck by another bullet in his lower back area, but thankfully his bullet-resistant vest protected him. And by the way, it's mandatory, so the civilians know here, everybody here that works patrol wears a vest. I think Dan will tell you that vest probably saved his life. And I saw his back and the wound after, and it was amazing because a shotgun slug is a very powerful projectile. As Officer Waschura battled to end the threat, Officer King was able to crawl out the passenger door to keep cover from the bullets being fired in his direction. As a former medic, Officer King was amazingly brave and composed enough to administer first aid to himself and his severely shattered arm by applying a tourniquet. At this unanticipated and chaotic scene, Officer Waschura demonstrated exemplary police skills to protect himself and his wounded partner. Both officers truly answered the call to protect and serve the citizens of St. Paul that evening. Next, Officer Mark Lundquist started as a police officer in 1997. He spent time with the Dallas PD before coming to St. Paul. He has worked in the Western District, Central District, ACOP unit, and also was a longtime mounted patrol officer. Since 2004, he has been assigned to the West District. Officer Lundquist is nominated for his strong work ethic, and that's an understatement because I know Mark very well. His commitment and creativity in improving the department and the community. When reporting for duty, he always prepares himself for his shift by gathering information from various communications such as bolo boards and emails, and then he shares those facts with others on patrol that could benefit. He also talks to a lot of people and residents in the community to gather even more information, and he shares that with his fellow officers as well. He is aware of the calls others are responding to and is known for quickly assisting his fellow brother and sister officers to make sure that they're safe on each one of their calls. He continues to improve himself by participating in various specialized trainings. In fact, Mark wrote a proposal to the department for the use of crime scene technicians, we call them CSTs, to augment and assist the crime lab. CSTs are given basic training in fingerprinting and photographing crime scenes, and they carry more advanced equipment than other patrol officers. The CSTs help detect, preserve, and collect evidence at calls. He is also committed to helping those in the community that need some guidance. After making several contacts with burglars who have drug addictions, he began researching and talking with various groups about the process to start a nonprofit organization to help those with drug addictions and who have the desire to break their dangerous and destructive habits. His positive work ethic, empathy to all citizens, and tenacity to enhance the department and community are truly commendable. Amazing work, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Now we're going to do something a little different, so please listen here for a second. Hold your applause while I make a special announcement following announcing the Officer of the Year. So I'm going to announce the Officer of the Year award winner. Please don't applause yet. Just wait for a second. You'll understand shortly thereafter. So winning, again, hold your applause. Everybody got it? Winning the 2012 Officer of the Year award is a team of Officer Dan King and Brian Waschura. However, we do things right in the St. Paul Police Department. Remember, I started off talking about history and traditions. Both Brian and Dan have also been nominated to receive the highest award that I can bestow anybody as a chief of police, the highest award in the city of St. Paul, the Medal of Valor for their actions. Carl Sandburg once said, "Valor is a gift. Those having it never know for sure whether they have it until the test comes." I think we heard about that test. Many of you have seen that test, and you've been able to view the video of what happened. I pray every night that our officers get to go home safely. That night I was very worried about both officers, and being at the hospital, it was very difficult. But you know what? They survived an encounter because of their training, their dedication to this city, and to make it a safer place. Dan and Brian were tested that night on October 23rd, 2012. They demonstrated uncommon valor and courage. Our police family is proud to gather here today to honor their valor and courage. So with that being said, and now you're going to be able to applaud, it is with great privilege and pleasure that I present our Officers of the Year, also with the St. Paul Police Department's Medal of Valor for their police actions taken on October 23rd, 2012.
Dan's the senior guy, so he said I have to go first. And I actually find the podium to be quite suiting. I would just like to start out by saying how humbled I am to receive this award. We have so many great cops in this department, so to be formally recognized in this manner is truly an honor. We were just two cops in the right place at the right time that night, and then the Lord decided our time wasn't up yet. I have so many people to thank, and I don't want to leave anyone out, so forgive me if I do not mention you specifically. To my dear wife, Dana, thank you for being the best wife and mother to me and our girls I could ever ask for. This past year has not been easy for us. Without exception, you have shouldered much of the burden. Your love and understanding of why I do what I do makes this job a little bit easier. Dad and Mom, thank you for showing me the value of hard work and sacrifice, and that no matter how many times life knocks you down, staying knocked down is never an option. Sergeant Hazlett, I know is not here today, but thank you for running to the sound of gunfire that night. Sergeant Flanagan, thank you for doing more for me and my family that I have time to list. Officer Bravo for staying by my side that night. Officer Randall for your assistance with Dan. President Titus for your support and guidance throughout this ordeal. To our fallen brother, Josh Lino, thank you for being one of the very first cops to check in on us at Regions the morning after the shooting. Range instructors and training staff for your desire to train up warriors. Commander Legault, for steadily preaching from day one of my academy to be ready for when the day chooses you. Class 2008-1 for your support and generosity. All the other countless cops who have called and texted and continue to check in on us, thank you. Fellow brothers and sisters, it is becoming increasingly more difficult to be aggressive pursuers of evil in today's society. Often the public is not aware of the dangers we face and the sadness we see on a daily basis. Right or wrong, our actions are regularly scrutinized and second-guessed by the public and press from the confines of a safe and secure home or office. Today I want to encourage my fellow street cops that being dangerous is something to be proud of. In fact, being dangerous is a sacred trait. Not every cop has this gift. Those who do must be cherished and protected, for they are a rare breed. They are the ones who day after day, night after night, go out and seek out evil and meet it head on. If we don't have cops who are willing to be dangerous, who don't just respond to crime, but actively go out and seek to prevent it, how much worse could our neighborhoods be? In a recent article listed on policeone.com, Lieutenant Dan Marcoux shared some vitally important insight on why today's police officers need to be dangerous. In his article entitled, "Why Cops Should Be Dangerous," Lieutenant Marcoux asks, "Are you dangerous? Are you hypervigilant? Are you overaggressive?" These words are often used to describe traits considered by some to be undesirable in police officers. In today's world, officers must aggressively pursue criminals and the stalkers of innocence. They must aggressively embrace the Constitution while aggressively seeking justice. Justifiable use of force will appear aggressive, and in fact often must be so, for officers to prevail. Aggressive is good. Aggressive officers make a positive difference in their communities. In 2013, when hyper-paroled criminals and hyper-released psychopaths are walking unfettered in communities around the country, stalking innocents, street officers need to be at the very least ever vigilant. Vigilance is not a neurosis. It is an absolutely necessary trait possessed by the sheepdog. It says protect and serve on the side of nearly every squad car in this country. If those are not just words, and it is a fact that police officers protect the people they serve, it stands to reason officers must be dangerous to those that would do harm to innocents. I say again, officers must be dangerous to those that would do harm to innocents. When the murky patina of political correctness is cleared away, officers must be honorable, but still highly trained killers. Now to answer Lieutenant Marco's question, are you dangerous? One of the only ways you can be dangerous is to free your heart from the fear of death. Civil War General Thomas Jackson had this to say about death. "Captain, my religious belief teaches me to feel as safe in battle as I do in bed. God has fixed the time for my death. I do not concern myself about that, but to always be ready, no matter when it may overtake me. That is the way all men should live, and then all would be equally brave." Being dangerous also means you are tactically prepared. It is not having the mindset of, "It will never happen to me." Instead, it is, "When it does happen to me, I will be ready." I would encourage all of my fellow street cops to carry extra pistol and rifle magazines and medical supplies with you. One day you may find you or your partner's life depending on it. So, are you dangerous? If you have to think about this, the question is already answered. It was once said, out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't even be there. 80 are just targets, 9 are the real fighters, and we are lucky to have them, for they the battle make. But the one is a warrior, and he will bring the others back. Make no mistake about it, we are in the warrior business. People will continue to try and hurt us, and yes, even kill us. Technology will change, politicians and administrations will come and go, but the dangerous warrior spirit must be constantly practiced as well as preached. We are all we have out here. Will we let fear, distrust, and complacency chip away at our warrior spirits, or will we stand ready? In closing, let me encourage you and challenge you with these words. The bravest are surely those who have the clearest vision of what is before them, glory and danger alike, and yet notwithstanding, go out to meet it. Please join with me in saluting the cops who love descending on evil faster than others can flee from it. To us and those like us, there are very few left. Thank you.
I was less nervous when I got shot. I want to congratulate Mark for being nominated. Some really solid work. It's also his birthday today. I think he's 30. Make sure everybody knows. Happy birthday. It's an honor to stand before you today. I can't help think of the violent circumstances that brought me before you, and I would be remiss if I didn't speak of them. Not to be dramatic, but to talk of the dangers of our profession. Make no mistake, we're in the midst of violent times not ever seen in the time of mankind. Guns are a big topic and part of the reason I stand before you today. This is not my soapbox, but after being shot twice, I will say to wield a gun means taking on a heavy responsibility. To walk with a gun means you had better do so with a sense of honor. Colonel Grossman, many of you know, is a Army colonel who specializes in psychology and has written several books. He's a personal hero of mine. If you haven't seen him speak, you're doing yourself a disservice because you will never forget his messages. He put in his book a quote from William Bennett in a lecture to the United States Naval Academy. And it goes, "Honor never grows old, and honor rejoices the heart of age. It does so because honor is finally about defending those noble and worthy things that deserve defending, even if it comes at a high cost. In our time, that may mean social disapproval, public scorn, hardship, persecution from outside and inside our own walls, or as always, even death itself. The question remains, what is worth defending? What is worth dying for? What is worth living for?" Those are powerfully quoted questions, and I can answer them pretty easily, I think. What's worth defending, dying, and more importantly, living for? I say live for every good cop in this room, in this state, in this country, in this world, and the families and friends that support them. Live for the good people who are still out there and could not defend themselves. They are worth defending, dying for, and most importantly, living for. I have to personally thank Brian, my partner. I've said it 1,000 times. He saved my life, and I'll say it 1,000,000 more times. He saved my life, and I thank him for it. Officer Dave Randall for helping me with the tourniquet. Rigo Aguirre and Dylan Flanagan, one of my bosses. Despite their many attempts to tell me that I pooped my pants that night, I did not. And I have plans for you monkeys. My wife Sherry, who stood by me every single minute I was in the hospital. My family, who supported me and helped me in any way I needed. My friend Don Johnston, Brian Massman, they take care of me, watch over me. I will close by saying, train yourselves to fight and live as I have done, so that you may live and continue to give. I thank you so much for this honor, and although I'm not in uniform, I salute you. Thank you.
For honorable mention of the year, for Officer of the Year, Mark Lundquist. Mark, come on up. Okay, we're almost done here. There is a little bit more. I would like to recognize, we do this every year, a few employees who have done some exceptional work during 2012. We have achievement awards, which are awarded in the following categories. And what we're going to do is just have, some of the people are here, some are not. Please stand up, and we'll wait till everybody stands up, and then we'll recognize the whole group. And this is a group of people that if you're a civilian, you don't want to see. You'll understand in a second. Top Tagger of the Year Award for our Parking Enforcement Officer, Alex Chance. If Alex is here, please stand up. Alex had 9,251 tags and only worked through October. So if you're parking illegally in the city, I know our council people are here, they're probably very happy but we don't want people to park without paying the meters. Just pay the meters, please. You don't want to run into Alex. Traffic Enforcement and Motors Officer, Officer Christopher Hoyt. Chris, are you here? There's Chris, 3,345 citations. Central District, Officer Eric Stevens, 844, second year in a row for the Central District. Eastern District, Officer Adrian Saffold, 1,313 citations. There's Adrian. Western District, Sergeant Jeremy Ellison, 1,144 citations. See here, Jeremy? Citywide Services, Officer Steve Bystrom, 820 citations. Let's give them all a round of applause. And we will get them pins. And by the way, you know, I joke about it, but actually, they really make our city streets a safer place. It's really important, the work that they do, because believe it or not, traffic is still the #1 complaint that we receive in the police department. Now for the top DUI arrests for the department, and this officer is just simply amazing. This is his 5th year in a row as being the winner, taking drunk drivers off the street. I know that MAD loves him to death. Officer Santiago Rodriguez, 87 DUIs in 2012. Santiago? And I don't know if they're here, but we have Top Gun on the department is Officer Daniel Freermouth, and Top Gun for the SWAT team is Officer Lance Christianson. I'm not sure if they're here. There we go. Thank you. Last but not least, every year we recognize one individual in the department who is known for their legendary stories. Sometimes they can spin a yarn that all of you can't even imagine. They're what TV shows are made of. They're legends to others, and they're legends sometimes in their own mind as well. But it's something that we've had fantastic winners every single year. They're actually very dedicated officers. They just have a lot going on. That individual wins the Flying Pig Award, and this year's winner is going to be Sergeant John Adamek. John, you want to come forward? Come on up. Our award winner from last year, Sergeant Stanton, is going to bestow the pig, which, by the way, weighs about 25 pounds. And let me tell you a little bit about John. John was hired as a police officer in 1989. He was promoted to sergeant in 1998. Since 2008, he has been in charge of our ODU, or our bomb squad. He has worked a variety of assignments throughout his career: the Central District, Narcotics, Downtown Beat, Western District, Emergency Communications Center, and East. John is a board-certified merchant of heat. His former partners all have big smiles today and lots of stories to share. Just ask them. John, remember the famous limousine ride? And we definitely don't want to talk about that here. John is the only officer to ever give his partner a concussion while arresting a suspect in front of the Horseshoe Bar. Congratulations, John Adamek. And to get John here was difficult. He was actually in training for the department today, so we actually had to say there was a suspicious package here as assistant chief to get him here, because it's kind of hard to do that. I want to thank everybody again, families, friends, the people that are here. Special thanks go out to Tim Lino. Tim, proud sergeant in our department. Tim, all of our hearts here go out to you and your family. With Josh, we're never going to forget. I think you know that. Not as long as I'm the chief, we're never going to forget, because Josh gave us the ultimate sacrifice as well. So I want to thank you for that, and maybe we can give Tim a loud round of applause, please. I can't tell you how proud I am of all of you here today. I mean, I am so proud to serve you. It's not about being the chief, it's about serving other people. It truly is. Servitude leadership is important. All of these people, as they came up here, you heard one interesting thing. Most of them talked about the other person that was nominated for the award more than they spoke about themselves or about their partners. That shows you the dedication and the difference that makes us different than any other department in the country. St. Paul is the best department. I'm proud to be your chief. I'm very proud of each one of you here today, and thank you for what you do to keep our city a safer place. Thank you.
Well, we're almost done here. We're going to just quickly. Dave Titus has been a veteran of the St. Paul Police Department for 19 years, and he's currently the president of the Police Federation. Dave?
Brian, I agree with the height. You stole my joke. Congratulations to all nominees, sworn in civilian, the civilians, anybody that can work with 600 type A cops. You deserve an award and to be rewarded. You know, every year there are many different types and styles of cops that have received this award. This year, we honor aggressive, assertive, knowledgeable crime fighters. Now, these cops have drive. I know them, most know them as Straka. We don't call him Rich, or some do. But Rich has always been the guy to go to if you need to know who the players are. If you have a question about an individual, you call up Rich, and Straka will get you the information on who they are, where they live, what they've done, who they hang out with. Rich, it's been an honor to work with you. This is well-deserving, and your commitment to this city and this department is second to none. So as a citizen, and as the president of the union, and as a cop, I thank you. Brian and Dan, all these cops are the type that, you know, they don't go to the gym and do yoga. They don't drink lattes. These are meat and potato cops. They're go out there and get the bad guy. And I'm very proud to know all of them and very proud to work with you two. What can you say after those speeches? I mean, without hesitation, they confronted evil. These guys are working the most dangerous streets at the most dangerous hours, and they're dealing with just plain evil. Without hesitation, they confront it. Cops who watch that video are just in awe. You listen to the audio, and I remember calling Brian and saying, I saw it before he did. And I said, I hope that if I'm ever put in that position, that I act the way you two did. And that, I think any cop who sees that thinks the same way. That was outstanding. Just outstanding. That's survival instinct. And what we like to say is they took the fight to the bad guy. They didn't let the bad guy take the fight to them. And that's why I believe personally you're both here today. You know, many times our profession gets a bad rap. The public may see maybe a two-dimensional video of use of force that they don't quite understand. It's our job to educate them. It's our job to tell them what we do and why we do it. And it's for you, and it's for our partners, and it's so that we go home at the end of the night. For that, we thank all of our nominees, and I'm not going to miss this opportunity. What these cops have sacrificed, given up, and dedicated themselves to. President Lantry, our contract is open, so I think you should pay them what they deserve. And let's make sure we get that done. All right, thank you, everybody.
As we come to the end of this great gathering, I want to be sure that we don't go home empty-handed. And a simple little exercise that can be sure to make that come true, to not go home empty-handed. And that's to take a deep breath. As you take the air of this room in, you carry the spirit that has been characteristic of this gathering, characteristic of this department, characteristic of the heroism and dedication of the people who were honored today. So take that deep breath. Lord our God, we thank and praise you for the many ways you have blessed the members of this department. We thank you especially for the example of the heroism and dedication of those who were honored today. Please let that spirit live within each of us. Hold us in the tender hands of your care. Raise up our heart and imagination to find the goodness that's possible. Protect all of us from harm and make us forever grateful day by day. Amen.
Congratulations to you. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Keep an eye on my house. Congratulations. Thanks for being here.
I love it. Thank you.